So I served this country for 5 years, and I'm a vet as of March 2025. During my military service and afterwards, I was told by black people that I'm fighting the white man's war, that I'm fighting for a country that hates me. What's funny about that is that the people they say who hate me have shaken my hand and told me thank you for your service more times than the people who actually look like me. So who the fuck am I supposed to believe? You know what I
Okay, so I guess nobody's safe out here, right? It's not only the tethers like myself, right, who come from a Caribbean background. I'm from Caribbean descent, or other people from African descent, right? Yeah, any I guess anybody could get the smoke if you don't agree with what the general consensus of the FBA community is. Then you're cooked, my friend. You're like dead to them, I guess. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this guy right here sounds like an FBA. Doesn't even have an accent like I apparently do sometimes when I speak. Right? Obviously, I grew up in a different country for 13 years, but it's crazy. It's crazy to see this. I guess nobody's safe. It's fair game. Once you go against the general consensus, once you go against the typical narrative, or what you're supposed to say, or if you're not a part of the hive mindset and you don't believe everything that they believe, then you're basically cooked. And it's crazy because the same thing that he pointed out in this video is the same thing that I notice, right? Whenever people, it's only whenever I get hated on the internet, or I get called slurs, or I get called, a bunch of a marad, like a plethora of names, right? It always comes from the black community, always. The white people and the Asian people and the Hispanic people, they all show me love, right? They're saying, "Oh, you're saying what we can't say, obviously, because they're going to be called a racist." You're pointing out the truth, right? I get messages. I have hundreds of DMs. I can show you guys, but I'm not going to bore you by that. But it's just crazy how it's only that one community. It's only that one community that always kind of bitches out and kind of chimps out whenever um they get criticized or somebody doesn't agree with them. But yeah, what he's saying is true. White people, Hispanic people, Indians, Asians, Hispanics, they all show me love. It's only that one community, even though some of them do show me love, but it's crazy. That's very, very ironic. But hey, nobody's safe. Whether you're a tether or you're an FBA, if you do not conform to the guidelines and say the things that they want you to say, or have the hive mindset, you're cooked.
think people from Venezuela celebrating this morning as if anything good is happening is a joke. We need to really wake up. We need to really wake up. Do you really think anything good is coming from what just happened? You're so happy that he did that, yet you're living in a country where they are racially profiling.
Something told me in my mind that she was gonna find some way how to mention race and racial profiling and all this stuff that happens in America, just to justify, you know, whatever the hell she's saying in this video. What this is right here, ladies and gentlemen, is just another classic tactic by liberals. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, the one of the most detrimental demographic to the United States is the white liberal woman. Bro, hands down, the damage they have done to this country with the policies that they vote for, incredible. Here goes another white liberal telling other people what they're going through. Because basically, what she's saying to the Venezuelan people is that you should not be celebrating because even though we took a dictator out of your country, you're not supposed to be celebrating. That is not a good thing. And it does strike my mind and a little bit of memory. And this is basically what they do to black people, right? They tell us that we're oppressed. They tell us that we can't get the same jobs as white people. I'm telling you, it's a psyop. It's a psyop for us to have the victim mentality. And it's crazy to me how a lot of people cannot see right through this bullshit. Think about it. She's actually telling the people of Venezuela that they should not be celebrating because a dictator got taken out of their country. Think deep that for a second right here. This is another classic, perfect example of a white liberal telling another person what they're going through and how they're oppressed and how what is good for them and what is not good for them. Been happening for years, and this is just another perfect example. Hands down, I have no doubt in my mind, one of the most detrimental things to the American society. There you go. There you have it.
Would you trade Trump for Maduro?
Yeah. 100. I mean, I think Trump. I think Maduro was democratically elected.
Probably, yeah, sure. More than likely, yes, of course.
If there's a Nicolas Maduro out here who's going to bring us to revolution, I will support that movement.
Nicolas Maduro could come and be our president?
Yeah.
Oh, any day. Any day. Look, all the check marks are there. He's not white. Okay, he's a minority. Okay. He looks a little too much like Saddam Hussein, though.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely true. The Democrat Party is collectively the stupidest group of people on the face of the planet.
Really need to know what goes on in these people's heads. Like, and I'm not even trying to be a dickhead, right? I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but I really need to understand just what goes on up here. I, I just we need to, start like a study or like a research organization where we take these deranged, because that's the only word I can use without being, following the TOS, right? With deranged people, right? These deranged liberals, and we need to do a post-mortem analyzation, like an autopsy, to see really what's going on there for examination and for research purposes and educational purposes, obviously. Because yeah, you're gonna take a person who you accused of being a dictator, who is Donald Trump, which we have no proof that he's actually a dictator. He actually freed a country of a dictator. So we're gonna replace that guy with an actual dictator. It just makes a lot of sense. I really just I need to know. We need to start like a research organization or something like that, because either these people are being paid to say this, or they're like just really, really, really deranged, and just like I can't even use the words that I want to use. But anyways, this is crazy. Saying that you would take Maduro, especially the last guy, he said, especially because he's not white, which is crazy. As if somebody being not white would automatically make them a better leader. But I don't know, man. We really need to know. They need to do a study and to understand. We need to understand what's going on in these people's head, because they have to be paid to say this, or they're just actually like just off the just yeah.